So the story starts with the female lead of this drama, whose name is Kang Batna, and she is currently in counseling. She says, I am a demon and I have come here from hell. As you can see, I have possessed this human body. I have done this, whose name is Kang Batna. I did not choose this body, but her face is very pretty and I am very satisfied with it. A doctor says, does this mean Batna is dead? Then we are shown a flashback in which Batna is in a very injured condition. She is lying on the ground. She dies due to excessive bleeding, and her soul comes out of her body. Then a door appears in front of her. When the door opens, she goes inside it. Actually, the soul of this place is named Murder Hell, and here we see a lady named Justica, and she is the judge of Murder Hell. On the other hand, we see another lady named Balak, and he is Justica's assistant. Here, the trial of a man is going on. Justica asks her assistant, who is this girl? Was this person not the last? The boy says, this is very strange. If you look closely, he is the last person today. Justica says, brand him and send him to the prison. The boy puts a brand on the man's forehead, due to which he disappears and goes into the prison, meaning that the man has been sent to hell to face punishment for the crimes he committed while alive. Seeing all this, Batna gets very scared and says, well, I have a trial here too. I am also a judge. Hearing this, Justica is surprised and says, how did a judge come here? Batna starts telling that she does not know why she is here. Someone had stabbed her in the park, but Justica does not listen to her completely and says, I only handle murderers here, and only murder cases can come to this court. Batna starts telling that she has not killed anyone. The boy says, Justica, we should know everything well beforehand. We should do this because this girl is not on today's list. Justica says she has come here, so I have to take a decision. Justica says to Batna, let's assume that you have killed a person, so you should be punished for murder. You will have to serve 20,000 years of sentence. Then she tells the boy to brand her, but the boy says, I will not do it because she is not on the list. If I brand her, then the brand cannot be removed, and if Bale gets angry, then there will be a problem. But Justica ignores his words and says, if you will not do it, I will do it myself. Then she takes the branding knife from the boy. Batna starts crying and keeps saying that she has never done anything with anyone. But Justica doesn't listen to her and brands her and sends her to hell. After some time, the director of Hell, Bell, comes there and says, the criminal who should have been punished in fake hell, you have branded him and sent him to hell. When he sent her, Justina asked, do you accept your mistake? But Justina refused to accept her mistake. Bell asked, did you listen to what she said? If you had listened, you wouldn't have made this mistake. Justina said, it is the judge's job to give their verdict, not listen to the criminal's nonsense. Bell says, whatever it is, you have made a mistake, so now you will go to the human world and you will have to punish 10 murderers who are ruthless and cannot be forgiven. You will take their lives and send them to hell. I will send you, you have 1 year's time. And you have to do all this while living in a human body. If you do not complete this mission on time, you will die. He also orders the boy to go to the human world with Justica. When Justica refuses to do this, Bell says, if you don't go on this mission, you will have to die right now. Then he starts hitting Justica. Justica says, don't die. So she agrees to the mission. After that, Justica comes near Batna's body and touches her head, through which she can see all of Batna's memories. She also comes to know that someone stabbed her in the park, due to which she died. Then she goes into Batna's body. Batna tells all these things to many doctors because the doctors are counseling her. Batna says, I want to ask you all a question. Is everything I told you all true, or have I made up a story to fool you all? After that, we see Batna talking to a doctor, and the doctor says, I will not be able to treat you anymore, so you will have to go to a good doctor. Go to the hospital and get yourself treated. The doctor gives Batna her health report, in which it is written that Batna has psych evaluation, PTSD, and generalized anxiety disorder. After that, Batna comes to the court because she is a judge. In the court, we see the male lead of this drama, and today is his trial. Batna says, I am very busy today, so let's finish it quickly. The defendant tells his name and work. My name is Han Dewan, and I am from the Violent Crime Investigation Team 2. Batna starts drinking a cold drink, which leaves everyone shocked because no judge does this in the court. Batna says, "Don't you have a lawyer?" Why is that he says yes? Because I know that I have not made any mistake. I don't need a lawyer, Batna says. People don't hire lawyers for themselves because they have made a mistake. Are you confident that you will win today's trial? Han says, "It is not so, but I believe that if justice is present, the law will protect me." Batna says, "Tell me in detail what happened at the time of arrest." Han says, "I was chasing a suspect who was running away after beating a citizen badly. I caught him while he was running away. There was no way left for him, so he took out a knife and attacked me, due to which I had to raise my hand on him. I arrested him. Then later there was a trial, but he was released easily. He just had to pay a small fine. Then after the trial, he filed a case against me saying that when I kicked the knife, his hand got hurt badly. That man's lawyer submitted the medical report from which Batna came to know that he was injured. It took 2 weeks for the man to recover." Batna says, "Why has his complete medical report not been submitted? I want to see how badly he is injured." The lawyer says, "The victim has not yet fully recovered from the injury. He is not able to eat properly." On hearing this, Batna softly says, "He should have died of hunger." What was the need to file a case? But everybody hears this. The victim's lawyer says, "You are making fun of this case. This is not right." Batna says, "You people have made a joke of this case. The police could not just stand there like that." He had taken out a knife to attack. So what should the police have done in such a situation? Should they have told him, "Please, sir, give me your knife? Or if you don't feel like giving it, then stab it in my stomach"? Do you want to say that the police should not have raised their hands on him and he should have died right there? The victim's mom, PTL group. Just because Tom is the president doesn't mean he can do whatever he wants. Batna looks at her watch and says, "I have to hurry up or else I'll be late." Then she asks Han if he has anything else to say. Han says, "Yes. Every night when I go to sleep, I regret that day. If I had known I was going to be sued, I would have done something different. Instead of kicking the knife, I should have kicked his hand really hard. And when I was handcuffing him, I should have twisted his hands harder. These are the only things I regret." Hearing all this, Batna is shocked and is impressed by Han's fearless attitude. He had not committed any mistake, so he wins the trial. Then we see some children who have been brought by their teacher to visit the court. The children ask the teacher why the goddess of justice is blindfolded. The teacher sees Batna leaving. She says, "Why don't we ask the answer to this from the judge?" The teacher says to Batna, "Judge Sahiba, can you give us some time?" Batna says, "I am not a judge." The children say, "You are lying because the clothes you wore clearly tell the truth. It is becoming clear that you are a judge. How can you lie being a judge?" Batna says, "I am telling the truth. I am not a judge." Han is passing by and sees Batna talking to the children. Batna tells them not to be scared. "Actually, I am a demon, a very scary demon." Hearing this, the kids start laughing. The kids say, "Don't lie, no demon is so pretty. Demons have horns on their heads and they are very scary. You look scary, but you are very pretty." Hearing her praise from the kids, Batna becomes very happy and says, "So tell me, what do you want to know?" The kids ask, "Why is the goddess of justice blindfolded?" Batna says, "This is a very good question. Actually, she is playing a game of hide and seek with the bad guys." The kids ask her why she needs a sword to play hide and seek. Batna says that it is so that she can punish the bad guys with its help. A little girl asks, "What is justice?" Batna says, "Good people live their lives happily, and bad people are punished. This is called justice." The children say, "But bad people also live a good life. Why does this happen?" Batna says, "Because there is no justice in this world." Then she shouts loudly to the children that justice is dead and nobody wants this. Seeing all this, Han is very shocked. After that, Batna runs towards her car and follows him. Han also arrives there and Batna says, "It is good that I found you." She gives all her stuff to Han and tells him to take all the stuff to the 18th Criminal Division on the 5th floor, where he will see a fat man. Give him all the stuff, she says. Then she sits in her car. Han says, "I am very curious to know why you supported me." Batna says, "Are you not happy with this? Should I give you the death penalty?" "I should have. Look, the truth is I didn't support you. Do you know why I love being a criminal court judge? Because I get to meet a lot of bad people who deserve to go to hell. That's why I don't need to say thanks. I was just doing my work." Then Han says, "Okay, I understand what you are saying. By the way, if you need my help in any case, then call me. He gives his card to Batna. She doesn't take the card, just reads everything written on it and says she has memorized everything. Then she leaves. Han gets very confused whether she has really memorized everything. Then we see Batna's assistant, whose name is Mano, and we come to know that this body has been possessed by the boy. He and Batna together have not been able to kill even a single criminal and send him to hell, due to which Mando gets frustrated and says, "Why is it so difficult to kill a criminal?" There we also see a girl who is also Batna's assistant. Then Han comes there, and after seeing Mando, he asks in his mind, "What did he say about this fat man?" Then he asks Mando. Han gives all Batna's stuff to Ko and tells her that Batna had asked him to deliver the stuff here. Batna's assistant asks where Judge Batna is, and Han says, "I don't know, she is in a hurry to go somewhere." Then we see Batna, who comes to the church to meet a girl. That girl's name is Min Jeong. She is crying a lot while praying in front of God. Batna says, "God is very cruel, do you know? God listens to all our prayers but does not fulfill them." Min Jeong asks, "Who are you?" She says, "I am Judge Kang Batna, and I am the one who will take your case." Min Jeong asks, "How did you know that I am here? Have you hired someone to follow me?" Batna says, "There is nothing like that. Being a judge, I just want to know the truth of this case." Min Jeong says, "I have already told everything to the police and also submitted the punishment letter." Batna says, "I found it strange for you to submit the punishment letter. He had beaten you a lot and even threatened to kill you, so how can you forgive him?" Then we are shown the scene when Min Jeong's boyfriend had beaten her very badly. Batna says, "You are lying that you have forgiven him." Min Jeong says, "I am not lying. I really want him to be released as soon as possible." Batna says, "There is no need to be afraid. If you tell me the truth, only then I will be able to take the right decision." Then Min Jeong says, "Don't tell me anything more," and she starts leaving from there. Batna comes behind her, stops her, and says, "Tomorrow is the first trial. If you keep doing like this, then I will have to accept your non-punishment letter." Min Jeong says, "I also want the same. That is why I have submitted that letter. That is why, please stop stalking me." Batna says, "Look, I am a judge. To take the right decision, it is very important to know the truth. That's why tell me everything and I will help you." Min Jeong says, "You will be a judge, but you have no right to do all this." Then police officers come there and ask if everything is fine. Min Jeong says, "Officer, this girl is following me." The officer says, "Look, Ma, I am. You can't do this." Batna says, "Actually, this is all just a misunderstanding. Actually, I am a judge." The officer says, "Can you show us your government ID?" Batna checks her pocket and then remembers that she had given all her belongings to Han. Batna says, "Look, I don't have that ID right now, but you can check my personal ID." She checks her purse, phone, everything, and gives it to the officer. The officer looks at Batna's health report, which reveals that Batna has PTSD and delinquent disorder. Then the officer says, "Ma Am, you have to come with us." Then we see Han in the police station. A lady officer hits him from behind and Han says, "What are you doing?" Miss Kim starts beating him and says, "Can't a mother even hug her son? You won the trial, but be more careful next time. You should give your best to catch the criminals, but it does not mean that you should put your life in danger. By the way, tell me one thing. Who was the judge handling your case?" Then the officer comes there and tells Miss Kim that Min Jeong has called the police. He was called because someone was following him. Miss Kim says that Jeong Jun is in jail. So who is this? The officer says that he has been brought here, but it seems that his mental condition is not good. They bring Batna. Han is quite surprised to see him. When Batna sees Han, she says, "Han Daeon, you are the one who robbed the Nuban police station violent crime investigation team too." Han is quite surprised to hear all this. Really remember everything. In the next scene, when Han is writing all the information about Batna, Batna says, "I thought we were close. Weren't we?" The officers and Han's mom are quite surprised to hear this. Han tells them all, "It's not what you guys are thinking." Then she asks Batna why she was following Mijio. Batna says, "I wanted to ask her something." Han asks, "What did you want to ask?" Batna says, "I wanted to know what truth she is hiding and what she is feeling." Han says, "Why do you need to know all this?" Batna says, "I heard that you were the lead detective of her case." "I am the judge in charge of her trial." Han says, "This means that you have doubt on the punishment letter." Batna says, "For a fair trial, I want to know the truth and not lies, because it is the job of the judge to bring out the truth and punish the bad people." Han gets quite impressed after hearing all this. Then when Batna is leaving the police station, Han says, "I don't let anyone see this," and gives Batna her medical report. Batna says, don't look at me like that. Some crazy doctor had misdiagnosed me, then Han says, but I had seen that this is the report of the most famous hospital of Korea. Batna says. Then detective, what do you think after seeing this report? Han says. I saw you saying to some children that you are a demon. Batna says, do you want to say that I need treatment? Han says, I don't know whether demons exist or not, but I can definitely say that there is no God in this world. If there were, the world wouldn't be like this. Batna says, you are wrong. There is no fault of God or Satan in this, but humans themselves have made this world like this. Han says, I think you are right. Batna says, till now you have told me nothing. Han says, it doesn't matter to me whether you are a demon or not, but all I can say is that you are a capable judge. Batna smiles and says, don't you know how to give a straight answer? Let's leave it now. I will leave then. Han says, please, you will take the right decision in tomorrow's trial. After that, we are shown the scene of the trial the next day. The prosecutor says defendant Jung-ju told his girlfriend he had beaten her very badly 3 times between October 2023 and December 2023. When the victim wanted to break up, he had beaten her very badly and had also threatened to kill her. Batna says, defendant, are you facing all these charges? Do you confess? Jung-jun's lawyer says, we confess to the assault charges, but the defendant did not threaten, and the non-punishment letter submitted by the victim makes this clear. The prosecutor says, the victim lied because she was very scared. The lawyer says, this is just a one-sided claim of the prosecutor. Batna says, okay, let's talk about the evidence. The prosecutor says, we have submitted some photos which were taken as evidence immediately after the assault of the victim. Then everyone sees the photos which clearly show that Min-jung was beaten very badly by her boyfriend. Seeing these photos, tears start coming from Jung-jun's eyes. Batna asks him, why did you beat her? Jung-jun says, we were just fighting. I even apologized to her, but she kept saying that she has to break up. This made me angry, and when I came to my senses, I had raised my hand on her. She says, are you saying that you have no control over your anger? Jung-jun says, I confess that I hit her, but I never threatened her. The prosecutor says, when she said let's break up, you said let's die together. Isn't this a threat? Jung-jun says, to tell the truth, I was very nervous at that time. The thought started coming in my mind that it would be better to die than break up. Must be because I love her very much. I was not threatening her. I was just requesting her not to leave me. Jung-jun starts crying a lot, so Batna asks him to shut up, but he doesn't. So Batna shouts and says, shut up, and Jung-jun stops crying. Her lawyer says, Your Honor, the defendant has grown up facing a lot of difficulties. That's why he doesn't know how to make love in a healthy way, but for the victim, his love is true. Batna says, you want Min-jung to die, right? Jung-jun says, it's not like that. If it's too hard for Min-jung, then I will never go anywhere near him from now on. After that, Prosek says, the defendant should be sentenced to a year in prison for what he did. Batna asks Jung-ju to give his final statement. Jung-ju says, I know I'll never be able to see her again, but I just want to say this. After listening to everything, Batna says, today's trial ends here. Now we will meet in the next trial when the defendant will be sentenced. Then, when Jung-jun is being taken to the detention center, Min-jung's mom and dad are standing there. Jung-ju comes to them and says, I have something to say to you, but Min-jung's mom says, we won't listen to you. Jung bows his head and apologizes to them, but regrets what he had done. He doesn't have any regrets at all. He smiles and says, is Min-jung okay? Batna says, 1 year for doing this nonsense, that he loved her very much, that's why he beat her very badly, and 1 year for crying in the court and acting nonsense, at least give a total punishment of 2 years. He says, can you do this, because Prosek had requested only 1 year's punishment. Batna says, I am the judge, so I will decide how many years the punishment will be. Then Mando says, it seems we will not get any benefit from this case. Also, Batna gets frustrated and says, you are right. If this continues, then I will not be able to complete my mission in a year. Mando says, killing humans through trials is not the only way, so Batna says, what do you think I have done? Wouldn't you have thought of any other method? Don't you know that trial is the best way to complete the mission? Mando says, see, first we should find such a criminal through trial who deserves to go to hell. Then you can bring him down. Give him less punishment so that he comes out of jail soon. Then we will kill him and send him to hell. Batna says, keep this nonsense plan of yours to yourself. Mando says, I have another idea. Why don't we find a serial killer? We send to hell a person who has killed 5 people. Now, because he has committed as many crimes as 5 criminals, it will be 5 counts. So if we find a serial killer who has killed 10 people, then your mission will be completed in 1 go. So Batna says, will there be any serial killer who has not been caught after killing 10 people? Mando says, I don't think so, because these days there are too many CCTV cameras, so it is very difficult to get away with so many crimes. Batna gets angry after hearing this. I say, hey, he keeps giving useless ideas from here on motherboard. Then he gets a call from Han, who says, I want to tell you something about Jung Jun. Batna gets very worried about what Han wants to tell. When Batna comes to meet Han, Han says that I myself saw that Jung Jun was laughing and making fun of Minjung's mom and dad. He does not regret his actions at all. If he comes out of jail, he will not commit any crime again. Batna says, you are trying to say that he will come out again and beat up Minjung and maybe even kill her. Han says, yes, it can happen. That is why you have to give him the harshest punishment, because you are the one who said that it is the job of the judge to bring out the truth and punish the bad people. Then Batna says, if it is so, then arrange a meeting for me with Minjung's mom and dad, but this meeting will be held without you. I want to talk to them alone so that I can help the victim, and I can know the story of their family. Then, in the next scene, Batna is sitting with Minjung's mom and dad. Batna says, I want to know about Jung Jun and why Minjung submitted the non-punishment letter. Minjung's mom says she is very scared, so she submitted the letter. We are shown the scene where Minjung is telling her mom on the phone that you should not have reported him to the police. This is not going to change anything. He will not stay in jail forever. When he comes out, he will not leave me. She was crying a lot. Her mom tells all this to Batna. Minjung's dad says that the prosecution has requested a sentence of 1 year. It is not known what he will do with my daughter after 1 year when he comes out of jail. Hearing this, Batna smiles slightly, thinking something in her mind. Minjung's mom and dad request him to please save their daughter. Batna says, don't worry, he will definitely be punished for his actions. Later, Batna comes to the office and is in a very good mood. Mando asks her what is the matter, then Batna tells him her plan. Mando says that it is too brutal for a human being. Then Batna asks what happens to humans. I don't care about that, I just have to complete my mission. After that, we are shown the scene of the day when Batna is about to sentence Jung Jun. Batna says that Jung Jun was the one who assaulted the victim many times when both of them were in a relationship. When the victim wanted to end the relationship, the defendant had beaten her very badly. Jung Jun treated the victim as if she was his property, which is a serious criminal offense. But the victim has submitted a non-punishment letter, and Jung Jun has also admitted his mistake and regrets his actions. Considering all these things, the defendant Jung Jun will have to pay a fine of 3 million won. Hearing this, everyone sitting in the court is shocked. Even Jung Jun is shocked. This happens because he thought that he would have to go to jail. Minjung's mom starts crying and says, how can the judge do this? Now what will happen to our daughter? When Batna is going, Han comes to talk to her. Batna says, I know what you have come here to talk about, so don't say anything because I gave the verdict according to the law. Han says angrily, who has made such a law? Batna says that the victim has already forgiven the defendant, which is why she submitted the letter. Han says, you also know that she did this out of fear. Are you feeling any remorse? Han says, you said that he will be punished for his actions. Batna says, you lied, you can think whatever you want, but know one thing, I didn't lie to you. Then she leaves. When Jung Jun comes out of the detention center, Han is there. Han tells him, if you even come close to Minjung, it will not be good for you. Saying this, he goes away. Minjung's mom and dad come to meet her, but she does not open the door. Her mom and dad say that you should not stay here alone. Come home with us. Minjung refuses to go with them and asks them to leave. They have brought some food for Minjung, which they keep outside. Han says, Minjung, don't worry at all. I am outside. I am leaving a smartwatch. If anything happens, press the SOS button. We will reach here immediately. After they leave, Minjung comes out and takes the food and watch inside. She eats the food brought by her mom and dad and wears the watch. Now 2 weeks pass. We see Han at the police station. It's lunchtime and Han says, I will check on Minjung and come back. His colleagues say, you go and check on her 3 to 4 times every day. It is necessary to go and check on her. Look, we know that you want to protect her, but at this moment we have many other cases pending. Ms. Kim says that these people are right. You should pay attention to other cases also. It would be enough to go and check on Minjung once in the evening. Then we see Minjung, who is looking out of the window at the people. People are busy with their work, and she is happy to see all this. Minjung also goes out of her apartment. She calls her dad and says, "Dad, can you come pick me up?" Tana is also very frustrated because 2 weeks have passed and Jungju has not committed any crime yet. It turns out that Batna is trying to carry out the same plan that Mando had told her. Jungju is a criminal who deserves to go to hell. That is why Batna gave him a lesser punishment so that while he is out, he will commit another crime and be caught again. Mando says, "Why don't you use your power to find out what Jungju is doing right now?" Batna writes Jungju's name in the mirror and starts seeing what Jungju is doing. Jungjun buys a hammer and is smiling a lot. Seeing this, Batna also starts smiling because she understands that Jungjun is going to commit a crime today itself. So Batna tells Mando that it seems it's time for her to go to work. Jungjun comes to Minjong's apartment and puts tape on the door frame, then rings the doorbell. Minjong checks the door cam and doesn't see anything, so she says, "Dad, are you outside?" But there is no answer, which makes Minjong very scared. She asks again, "Who is outside?" Jungjun changes his voice and says, "I am a detective. Detective Han has sent some stuff for you." As soon as Minjong opens the door, she gets scared to see Jungjun outside. She tries to close the door, but Jungju comes inside and starts beating Minjiang. Jungjun breaks the smartwatch that Han had given her. He beats Minjiang very badly. Maijong says, "You said if I submit the non-punishment letter, you will leave me alone." Jungjun says, "Yes, I said that, but I started missing you too much. If you call the police again or go to your parents, I will kill your mom and dad. I am leaving now, but I will come back again." Saying this, he goes away. Batna was watching everything in the car mirror. Minjong is very fed up with these things, so she decides to commit suicide. Seeing her committing suicide, Batna smiles and says she is dead. Jungjun is going to his home, and Batna meets him on the way. Batna says, "You seem to be in a very good mood. Are you coming from somewhere?" Jungjun says, "You are a judge. What are you doing here?" Batna asks, "Should we go to some quiet place to talk?" Jungjun asks, "What do you want to talk about?" Batna asks him to come closer. When Jungjun goes to her, Batna says, "It will not take much time," and starts smiling. Batna has hidden one of her hands behind her because she is holding a knife, ready to kill Jungjun and send him to hell. We see that Batna is about to kill Jungjun, but at that moment Han arrives, causing Batna to postpone her plan. Jungjun says, "Detective, what are you doing here?" Han replies, "You know why I came. I told you to stay away from Minjong, but you didn't listen to me." Jungjun says, "When I was in high school, my mom died, my dad remarried and threw me out of the house. I grew up without parents, that's why I am like this." Han responds, "Stop your nonsense, not every orphan is like you." Han gets very angry. Jungjun says, "Will you kill me? Is this yours?" Han says, "It is not good for him." Then Han says, "You are right, I am going to beat you very badly, then I will resign." Han goes to punch him, but Batna holds his hand and says, "A detective should not do this." Han tries to free his hand but is unable to. Then more officers arrive and Batna lets go of his hand. The officer says to Jungjun, "We suspect that you are stalking Minjiang. That is why you were brought to us for questioning. We have to go with them to the police station. We don't have an arrest warrant, so you can refuse." But Jungjun agrees to go with them. When the officers take away Jungjun, Han tells Batna to come with him. Batna asks where to go, but he doesn't tell her. When both of them sit in the car, Han asks her why she came to meet Jungjun. Batna says, "I just wanted to see if the person I left has committed any crime again." Han takes Batna to Minjong's apartment. Batna already knows what happened here. Han says, "Seeing the condition of this apartment, don't you think that you made a wrong decision?" Batna says otherwise. Han says, "If you had not released him by just charging him a fine, then Minjiang would not have been attacked again." Batna says, "If I had given him a punishment of 1 year, wouldn't he have done it again after 1 year?" Han says, "But she would have been able to live in peace for a year, and her family members would not have thought that justice had not been done to her." Batna says, "I had just done my work as per the law. That is why you should blame the law and not me." Han says, "We are about to apply for the arrest warrant of Jungjun." Batna says, "What is the need for an arrest investigation? You can also call him a few times to the police station and interrogate him." She says, "It is the detective's job to decide how to do the investigation. This time you won't be able to escape so easily, because all the judges are not like you." Batna feels a little bad after hearing this. Then the scene shifts. We see Han and Jungjun in the interrogation room. Han says, "You are Minjiang. Why did you forcefully enter Minjiang's apartment?" Jungjun says, "That is not the case. She herself opened the door and asked me to come inside." Han says, "You beat up Minjiang. Do you admit this?" But Jungjun does not answer. Han asks why he took the hammer. Jungjun says, I took it thinking that maybe it would be useful for hammering nails if Minjong had to hang something on the wall. Han says, you talk a lot of nonsense. While you were gone, Minjong hanged herself. Jong Jun gets scared and starts asking repeatedly what happened to her. Is she dead? Han tells him that Minjong is alive because they reached there on time. Jong Jun feels a little relieved after knowing that she is alive. Han says, if she had died, then how could I live without her? Han says she tried to take her life because of you. Jung Jan says that is too much overdramatic. You tell me in which couple there is no fight. Han says to keep his nonsense in the court, that after keeping him and dating Abudos, they leave him. Miski tells Mahan to keep an eye on Jung Jun, after which Han himself says to Jung Jun. Han comes to drop Ko home again and warns Jung Jun not to get close to Minjong because he is going to keep an eye on him all the time, so if he gets caught, he will be in trouble. The next day, when Batna comes to the office, Mando asks her if she killed Jang Jan. Batna tells him that she was about to kill him, but at that moment, Han arrived there, due to which she had to cancel her plan. She also tells him that Minjong is still alive. Mando says if Jung Jongju hasn't killed Minjong the Neshilong, then this case is of no use to us. Batna says no, you are wrong. This case is of use to us. Mijio tries to commit suicide because she is mentally dead. She has no will to live left, and all this has happened because of Jung Jun, which means he has mentally murdered Mijio. This is also a crime, so he should be punished. But again and again, Han is coming in between the work, due to which I am not able to complete my work. Mando says if that is the case, then should I dispose of him? Batna says it seems you have forgotten what orders we have received. We only have to deal with people who have committed murder, but Han hasn't killed anyone, so we can't kill him. Anyway, whenever he challenges me, I enjoy it a lot. At the police station, an officer tells Miss Kim that Jang Jun's arrest warrant has been rejected because Jang Jun is willing to cooperate with the police. All the officers start getting very angry because they can't arrest Jang Jun despite everything being in front of them. The next day, Han comes to check whether Jiang and his mom and dad are okay. Then he gets a call and learns that Jiang has died. Han gets shocked after knowing that Batna comes to his office and is in a good mood. His assistant asks what the matter is. Why is he so happy today? Batna says, my trial went very well. Batna and Mando look at each other and smile. Then we are shown a flashback of what happened 12 hours ago. What happened was that Minjong calls Jong Jun and asks him to meet her at a place. Jong Jun reaches there and has to meet there. Here we come to know that it was not Minjong who called Jong Jun but Mando, who had changed his voice. This was all the work of Mando. Jong Jun is not able to understand what is going on here. Batna says your real trial starts now. Do you accept that you have taken Min Jiang's life? Jiang Jun says, what nonsense are you talking about? She is still alive and she has forgiven me too. Batna says that I will judge whether she has forgiven you or not, and also whether she is alive or not. Tell me, do you confess your crime? Jung Jun gets scared after seeing a magically branding knife in Batna's hand and tries to run away from there. But Batna kills him with her power. She brings him into her world and then does magic on Jung Jun, due to which he starts playing the character of Minjong. While Batna starts playing the character of Jiang Jun, whatever pain Jiang Jun had caused to Min Jiang, she gives him all the trouble. To the extent that she tortured him and beat him, she does the same to Jiang Jun. She punishes him very badly. Jiang Jun does not want to die, so he confesses his crime and also confesses that a person like him has no right to live. After which, Batna kills him and sends him to hell. Now back to the present. The police reach the crime scene and find Jiang Jun's dead body. Sure, here is your provided text with explanation errors corrected for clarity. Han sees a mark of blood on his forehead. Seeing the marks, they come to know that the body was dragged out from inside the house. But when they go inside the house, not a single drop of blood is found there, and not a single item in the house is broken. Due to this, everyone is left wondering what exactly happened here. Batna has come for shopping, and Mando is also there with her. Mando says don't worry at all, the police will not find any evidence there because I have done health. 2 people were sent there for cleaning, who are experts in their work. We are shown the scene when both of them were cleaning the house. Whatever was broken in the house, they restore it as before. They do not leave a single drop of blood. They erase all the footprints and fingerprints of Batna. They have amazing magical tools with which they erase all the evidence, and both of them had dragged Jang Jun's body and kept it outside the house. Batna asks, why did you keep the body outside? Then Mando says, because I want to tell people what kind of punishment should be given to the criminal. And At the beginning of this episode, we are shown the scene of the police station. After seeing Jung Jun's post-mortem report, the officers come to know that many of Jung Jun's bones were broken. He was stabbed, and he died due to bleeding all over his body. They also come to know that the mark made on Janju's forehead means hell, while Batna asks Mando to find more cases so that he can complete his mission as soon as possible and go back to hell. Mando says eat more blood. Only the police know about the ruthless criminals because they are the ones who do the work of catching them. So you should befriend us to know about such criminals. Batna says, I don't think he will befriend me because in her eyes I am a bad judge. Then her assistant comes and tells her that the chief has called her. Batna had released Jang Jun only after charging a fine, due to which the chief tells her many things about the clothes Batna is wearing, and she is scolded for wearing a lot of makeup, but Batna does not take his words seriously and walks away from there. The chief says angrily, I am tolerating this only because of Assemblyman Jung, otherwise I would have resolved this a long time ago. Then, when Batna is having lunch with her colleagues in the canteen, the news about Assemblyman Jung is being played on TV, and everyone starts talking about him. Then Batna meets all of them. She asks, who is this Assemblyman Jung? Everyone is shocked to hear this and says, have you really lost your memory after the accident? How did you forget him? Here Batna comes to know that Assemblyman Jung is her elder brother. She was engaged to his son, but he broke the engagement. Batna says softly, if it is so, then it is good that I don't remember. Then we see the chief, who has come to have dinner with Mr. Jung. The chief tells him that after the accident, Batna has lost her memory, but she is fine. Mr. Jung tells his son Young Jin that he is her ex-fiancé, so after the accident, he should have met her once. The chief says that after the accident, Batna has completely changed. It seems that she is not Batna but someone else. Mr. Jung asks the chief to take care of Batna and also tells his son to go and meet Batna once. The same Batna comes home and is thinking this, what should she do so that Han doesn't consider her a bad judge. Now a few weeks pass. Maijing comes to meet Han and Han asks her how she is. Maijing says I am fine and I also started going to work. Had you not helped me, I would have never been able to live a normal life, so thank you for doing so much for me. She also tells Han that when she went to church a few days after Jung Jun died, she met him. Batna had come to meet him and she had said some such things to him which had awakened the hope of living in him. When he was going home, he was thinking only about Batna. Then on the way he meets Batna. Batna says, when I went to meet you at the police station, I got to know from your colleague where you would meet me. Would you like to have a drink with me? But Han refuses. Then Batna is adamant that she will have to have a drink. Han, unable to stand her stubbornness, agrees to have a drink. Then they both sit at a place to have a drink. Han says I met Min Jiang. She was talking about you only. Batna says she definitely met me. Han says it is not so. He liked your words. Your words gave him hope to live. Then Batna says, after knowing all this, what do you think about me now? Han says, I am quite confused because I am telling you. I haven't been able to understand properly. Batna makes Han drink a lot and asks him if there is any case which you are not able to solve. Is there any brutal killer which you are not able to catch? Then Han says yes. There are many, but I can't tell you because it is confidential. Batna makes him drink more and asks for the names of some criminals, and Han says, okay, we'll tell you one name, but don't tell anyone. He tells her his name and says Batna is shocked to hear this and asks how he became a detective after killing 3 people. Han tells Han that he was very young at that time. Batna asks if his family had killed him. If you have been forgiven, then Han says they will never forgive me. Batna asks if he is confessing his crime, then Han says yes, I deserve to be solved for the crimes I have committed. I have no chance to live. Batna asks if I can meet their family members. Then Han says that you are sitting next to him. Then he falls asleep on the table in an intoxicated state and tears are coming from his eyes. Later in the night, when Han wakes up, Batna asks him whether whatever he told is true. Han says, can you keep all these things a secret? Then Batna says, I thought you were a good person, but you have killed 3 people. That's why you have no right to stay alive. You really deserve to go to hell. Then she stabs him with a brand knife. Then we are shown the scene of Han's childhood. He is sitting in the garden and talking to his mom. He makes paper flowers for his dad. Then when he reaches his home, his mom and dad are lying on the ground. There is blood scattered everywhere in the house. Han gets shocked after seeing all this. Then he sees a man inside the house. Han realizes that this man has brutally murdered his mom and dad. The man moves towards Han to kill him. Han's mom is still alive, so she tells Han to run away now back. To the present, Batna stabs Han and Han dies due to excessive bleeding. Batna starts laughing a lot, and when she goes to send Han's soul to hell, at the same time, Bel comes there. He tells Batna that Han was not a criminal. He punished the wrong person. Han will be alive again, but you made a mistake for which you will have to face punishment. Bel increases his sentence. Now he has to send 20 criminals to hell within 1 year. Batna does not want to die, so she is unable to refuse. After Bel leaves, Han becomes alive again. All the blood that had come out of his body goes back into his body, and the knife wound also gets healed. He is very scared and starts wondering what happened to him here. Batna comes in front of him and puts forward her hand so that Han can arrest her. Then in the next scene, we see Han and Batna in the police station. Han and Batna are handcuffed. Han tells Miss Kim and the other officers what happened last night. Miss Kim takes Han's alcohol test, and Miss Kim discovers that Han is not yet sobered up. No one believes what Han says. His colleagues say that if he had killed you by stabbing you, then how are you alive? Han keeps saying again and again that he is telling the truth, but no one listens to him. Can't believe seeing all this. Patana is smiling a lot. Miss Ki tells Mahan that you should stop drinking. When you are drunk, you start imagining anything. Miss Kim and the officers apologize to Batna on Han's behalf and remove the handcuffs. Then she goes away, smiling slightly. Batna meets Mando and tells him everything about what happened after killing Han. Then Mando says that before killing him, you should have determined that he is a murderer. Or not, on which Batna says, it is your fault because you were the one who gave me the idea that I should befriend Han and find out about the criminals. If you had not given me the idea, I would not have done anything like that, otherwise Mando says you. She is not correcting her own mistakes, she is imposing them on me. Then a waiter of the restaurant points a knife at Batna. Here we come to know that the name of that girl is Orang, but this human body is given a curse of hell. The soldier has captured her, whose name is Grayman. Batna's soul was running away from hell, so it was Grey Mooney's job to catch her, but she could not catch her due to which she ran away from hell. She had failed in her task, so Bel took over. She has also been sent to Earth to serve her sentence. Grey Mooney feels that Batna's soul had returned to her body, due to which she is alive at this time. But when she comes to know from Mando that Justika is in Batna's body, she is shocked and quickly apologizes to him, but she is also very happy because she considers Justika as her hero. Then the three of them come to some other place and start talking. Gremory learns that Justika is here. What has she come to do on Earth? So she decides to help Justika, and at the same time, she will also complete her punishment. Then we see young Jin, the son of Assemblyman Jung, doing the redevelopment work of the area where Batna lives. Mr. Jung comes to meet young Jin's company and asks how the redevelopment work is going. Young Jin tells him that almost everyone there has agreed, but the owner of the Huangqin villa there is against it. Mr. Jung says, did you try to convince the tenants there? Young Jin says, we have contacted all the tenants, but convincing one seems a bit difficult, and that is Judge Kang Batna. Mr. Jung says, why is Batna there? When she is staying, Young Jin says, I don't know, maybe his financial condition is not good after the accident. Then we are shown the scene of the police station. Everyone is working on Zhangju's case. Then Miss Kim says, should we know about Han? Instead, we should believe what the judge says. The officer says that Han was drunk, and it is not possible for him to say what he said. In such a situation, what else can we do other than believing what Judge Batna says? Miss Kim says, what you say is absolutely correct. I too don't believe what Han says, but there is something strange about Judge Batna. She doesn't seem like a normal person. Then we see Han in the hospital with the doctor. He is here on the orders of Miss Kim. But Han has come and tells the doctor all the things that happened to him, but even the doctor does not believe him. The doctor tells him that he has Dilgen disorder. No one is believing Han, due to which he is very frustrated. This happens because she is fully confident that what really happened to her is Batna. Batna comes to meet him in the hospital and says, I told you that the doctors are mad. I know that the disease they told you about is D. Then they both come near a river so that they can talk in peace. Han asks her who she is, and Batna tells him that her name is Justika. She is a Dem and came here from hell. He has posed the body of Judge Batna, who died 9 months ago, to which Han says, do you think I will believe this nonsense of yours? Then Batna says, you must remember what I did to you. Then Bitna uses her power to bring the same knife with which she had killed Han. There is a CCTV camera nearby which Batna blasts with her power. Seeing all this, Han is quite shocked and scared. Han has all the things in his phone. He is recording, but Batna comes to know about it, so she deletes the recording from her phone. Yesna asks her if you had come to meet me that day to kill me. Then Batna says I had no such plan. That's just there was an accident which happened to me while drunk, after which Batna has threatened Han and she says live your life as if nothing had happened. If I come to know that you are telling people that Batna has ruined your life, if I knew you, I would really kill you, and anyway no one is going to believe what you say, so don't waste your energy. Saying this, she leaves. Han is very frustrated because he is not able to understand what is happening with her. Han comes to the same place where Batna killed him. He is wondering how Batna did all that. Then he searches the internet about Batna and Deem's sons, after which he remembers his childhood. Han is at the police station and is telling the officers what he saw when he went home and what happened to his mom and dad, but the officers do not believe him because he changes his statement 3 times. After which a family is shown who are going to their home in a car. The child's name is Jihu and his dad is sitting behind, who is in an intoxicated state. His mom is driving. Due to loss of balance, they meet with an accident. The car falls into a ditch where there is a lot of water. The car is sinking. Then Jihu's dad asks his wife to take Jihu and leave as soon as possible because his seatbelt is on. When it doesn't open, Jihu's mom takes him to the shore. When Jihu's dad's seatbelt opens, he tries to get out, but the car door and sunroof are locked. Jihu's mom takes him to the curb. She comes to save her husband but is unable to save him. Jihu's dad dies. Then we are shown the scene of his funeral. Jihu's grandmother is beating her daughter-in-law Seju and saying that you are the one who killed my son. The friend tells her grandson to come home with me, and Seju says whatever you want. I will give you as much money as you want, but I will not let my son be taken away. Similarly, there is a lot of commotion here. And this matter reaches the court. A few days ago, Jihu's grandmother had taken Jihu with her without informing Seju, but she has not yet returned Jihu. That is why Seju has filed a case against her. The judge in charge of this case is Batna. It happens and Han also comes to watch the trial. Prasek accuses Jihu's grandmother of kidnapping Jihu. Then Jihu's grandmother shouts at Prasek and says that you don't have a grandson yet, so you won't understand this. I just had taken him home with her. How can you call it kidnapping? Her lawyer says to the judge, please forgive me. My client has come to the court for the first time. Hence, she does not know how to behave in the court. Hearing this, Jihu's grandmother scolds her lawyer. She also starts getting angry and says, are you on my side or someone else's side? If you can't take my side, then return my money. Then Batna tells them to calm down. If you keep shouting like this, then I will send you to court. Jihu's grandmother is also angry at Batna and says, are you all together and trying to suppress me? The woman sitting behind is my grandson's stepmother. She is the one who killed my son. Now she wants to snatch my grandson also from me. After all, how can I give my grandson to a stranger woman? I just want to keep him with me, want to raise him. Is this called a crime in your law? Batna says that you have legal custody. If it is not, then it is a crime. Hearing this, the grandmother gets even more angry and says, what kind of law is this? I cannot keep my own child with me, and some other woman files a case against me for my own child. Is this why? Batna says that this is why I am sitting here, so that I can find out whether you are a criminal or not. Otherwise, please calm down and let us do our work. But Dadi does not sit calm and says that you are a judge or a fraud. You look so intelligent, but you are not able to see the truth. Dadi is creating a lot of ruckus in the court, due to which the trial is not going ahead. Then Batna orders Dadi out. While leaving, she beats Seju a lot and says that you are the one who killed my son. After his death, you will get a lot of insurance money. On hearing this, Batna becomes interested in the case. She knows from her grandmother's words. It turns out that Seju had a husband before too. He also died suddenly, so Seju got his apartment and insurance money. Knowing all this, Batna smiles and says in her mind, I think this case is useful. After the trial is over, Batna comes to her office and tells Mando that the woman is going to get a huge insurance. There is something wrong in this case. Then she writes Seju's name in the mirror. Then she sees Seju crying and leaving the court. Mando says, aren't you feeling pity on this poor girl? Batna says whether she is a poor girl or not. That's what we have to find out. And by the way, I am also not that bad. I am also quite kind. I should get to work now. Then she gets a call from Han, but she cuts the call. Then when she comes out, Han is standing outside. Han invites her for lunch, but she refuses and says, hi, I told you to forget everything and don't follow me. Don't you love your life? Have you forgotten that I'm a dem? Han says, I haven't forgotten. Until I find out that day what happened, I am not going to stop following you. Then Batna says, I am warning you, don't follow me, and goes away from there very angry. Then we see Seju, who is a school teacher, and at this time she is teaching children. She is studying when Batna comes to meet her. Then both of them come out and start talking. Batna asks her whether whatever your mother-in-law said in the court is true. Then Seju tells her story, and she says, my first husband had become blind, and when we both went hiking, he died after falling into a ditch. Due to his death, I was very broken. That is why I started teaching in school. I was Jiho's teacher, so I used to meet her dad often, and I don't know when we met like this, we both fell in love. Jihu liked me, and I also considered him as my son, so we both got married, but only after 6 months of marriage. Only after all this happened, I had never even thought that I would have to go through these things again. Batna says, why do you want to raise your stepson? Leave him with your grandmother. Seju says, my husband when he was 5 years old. When Jihu was born, his mother had left him. Then she returned after 30 years and took advantage of Jihu and kept asking for money from her son. So, how can I leave Jihu with such a woman even though I am not Jihu's own mother? I consider him my son. Seju cries and says, please help me get justice for Jiho's sake. Then when Batna is leaving from there, Han says, did you talk to Seju? Batna says, are you a stalker? Yes, I had refused to follow you. Han says, if I am a stalker, then what are you, a murderer? Batna gets angry and grabs Han by the collar and says, looks like the fear inside you is gone. Then she starts strangulating him, but Han is not afraid at all and holds her hand while smiling and says, you can't hit me, right? Say you were just trying to scare me when I was about to raise my hand on. Jungjun, so you had held my hand. At that time you had a lot of strength in your hand, but now it is not so. It means there is definitely some reason due to which you cannot kill me. Batna says there is nothing like that. Then Han says, if it is not so, why are you worried? Batna gets angry, so she goes to punch Han, but just then the children are leaving from there. Then Batna stops and says, be thankful that the children saved your life. Batna, get out of there. When she is there, Han also sits in her car and says, take me along with you because I also want to know about this case. Batna understands that Han is not going to leave her, so she starts driving the car. Han seems to say that I also have doubts on Seju. After the death of her first husband, she got the insurance money, which was 500 million won, and now after the death of this husband, she will get 300 million won and her son will get 1.2 billion won. Batna asks, why are you telling me all this? Han says, I am trying to tell you that I can help you in this case. And this way I will be able to spend time with you too. Batna says, it seems you have no work. Then Han says, I am on leave at the moment because I am not feeling well. Someone had stabbed me. Batna in her apartment, she reaches there and asks Han to go home himself. Han says that you are going to meet that grandmother also because I have seen that to know the truth. You meet both the victim and the defendant. Batna says that she will not tell me any truth. Han says, look, you have to know the truth of the case and I want to know what you did to me that day. That's why let's work together. Batna does not answer him and goes inside the next day. When Batna comes out to meet her grandmother, Han is already there. Actually, Han does not have any house. He lives in a van house. He had come here in the night with a van and was here the whole night so that Batna can go with Batna to meet her grandmother. Batna comes to know that Han has hidden a pen camera in his pocket, which she takes. Batna decides to go in Han's van this time, but first of all she takes the van. She blasts the dash cam so that Han cannot gather any evidence. Then both of them leave to meet Grandma, and this is where the episode ends. So guys, how did you like this episode? Please tell me by commenting if you like my video. If you have come, please like this video and subscribe the channel to watch further episodes. I will meet you in the next video. Take care, bye bye.